said that there's so many people who have gone through this, my story. And we know that every one of us have a story. Everyone have a story. Who doesn't have a story? As long as you're born, as long as you live in this world, you have a story. And I always say that there's no bad story. All stories are what? All stories are good, because at the end of it, there will be a lesson, there will be educative. They're going to turn someone from, doing harmful things in his life or his body, and it turns someone closer to doing the good thing. So this time, we have one of us who have appeared in my story, and her name is Koi Wajemuthi, right? Koi. So I want to welcome Koi. Let's all rise up as we welcome Koi for My Story Part 3. Want to give her prime time to tell us something briefly, and then you move to the next stage. Thank you so much. You may sit down. Now, we have some laughers that are going round. Anyone who doesn't have a laugher ticket? We have laughers going round so that we won't make sure that before you leave this place, you have something you'll go with to remember this big day. So we have some ushers there. If you don't have any laugher, raise up your hand, and it can be passed down to you. Because after Koi presentation, we're going to have some raffles going around, and you get something as an appreciation of your coming to My Story launching. Koi, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Hello, everyone. Yes, it is a blessing. It is a blessing to be here. My official name is Jane Wathiru, but people like to call me Koi Wajemuthi. Those are the songs, and I love the Lord, and I just don't love the Lord. I love Him so much, because even He first, He loved me so much. And so I'm here to represent those people who have come to tell my story. My heels are not favoring me. And the reason I'm here to represent those who have given my story. When Grace came to me and told me if I can give my story, or if I can either go to her or come to me, she gave those options. I can come to you or you can come to me. I first didn't know what to say. And the reason being, sometimes we are afraid of our feelings. Sometimes we think when we share our feelings, it's weakness. Sometimes we think when you say what you've gone through, people will view as weak. They will turn your story to judgment, to being judgmental. They will turn your story. We have a problem with getting attached to someone's past. If I come here and say yesterday I was this and this, and today, when I stand here to talk, most people won't see Koi. They will see somebody I was yesterday. We have a problem. We are attached to the past. And so I was afraid of giving my story, because I didn't know if people are going to be attached to the past, or they're going to see me for who I've become. But then I was like, why am I afraid of sharing my feelings? It's not a sign of weakness. Sharing what I've gone through, it was not a sign of weakness. And I'm not going to go through what I shared. I want you all go to YouTube and My Story _ Grace Ngere. That's her YouTube channel. Please go. If you've not subscribed, make sure by the time you leave that door, you've subscribed. You can find my story. It's a long, there are like 3 or 4 episodes. So it's long. If I start, I'm going to stay here until tomorrow. But I share my story because I needed somebody to hear probably what I went through. My story is about me feeling complete because I never had a dad in my life. We always say I'm an advocate of boy child. And because sometimes we feel mummies, but we forget we have daddies. Without daddy, there will not be a mummy. And I grew up without a dad, and that gap I didn't know that it was disturbing me until late. I'm a suicidal victim. I have done not one time attempted suicide. It didn't work. And I'm sitting here because God still had a purpose for that, for me. And I'm also healing alcoholism and drugs. And that's what I say. If you look up here and see me as Wajemdi, who used to be, I'm so sorry because that doesn't bother me anymore. I'm healed. I have moved that into alcoholism and drugs. I am healing. Process thing. And the good thing is, God gives me glory. God gives, when I stand here, utasema mimi nimekunywa ama nimekuvuta mbangi ama nimekunywa cocaine ama nimefanya all that, let me call them nonsense or not so good things. But God has given me glory to shine up to today. And giving my story, and that's why I say that was one of my fear. People are going to do what? Attach to the past. But people have to hear sometimes. And sometimes those people who you reach to are not even the people who you thought you'd reach to. Sometimes we think, nikipeana story yangu, my story, maybe these things I'll get this audience. And then you get an audience somewhere in Jamaica or somewhere where you never and somebody listens to your story. I have gained friends through giving my story. And not only did I give my story and help somebody, I also gave story and people realized I have not even healed. There are people who contacted me, there are people who contacted Grace, and they told, they are specialists, and they told, Grace, I think she hasn't healed yet. She needs to go through, she hasn't grieved enough. One said, I haven't grieved enough. She's still going through the process of grieving. She thinks she's overcome her dad's absence in her life, but she hasn't grieved. And she needs to grieve to put it a past to her. So I'm here to say that Grace Channel, not only does it give hope to those who are going through things or going through depression or going through it also gives hope even to us who are giving the story ourselves. It even heals you who is giving your story. It heals everyone who is giving their story. And one thing I realized, when you stand up for truth, after I gave my story, I gained more enemies than friends. Because sometimes people don't want to see the change in you. I'm here to tell you, if you're here and you're going through a healing process, it's not easy. This is not when you're going to be celebrated. This is when people will stop talking to you. This is when people are going to throw shades at you. This is when you're going to pass and people are going to tell you, ni saizi tu atarudi kwa pombe. Ni saizi tu atafanya. People will want to associate you with past. If you're going through something, you are going through a healing, let me tell you, that is when the devil wakes up and knows it's time to fight you. You gotta fight. You gotta fight. You gotta put on a fight. Because it's easy to lapse and go back to where you were. But when you stand on your ground and you know there's a God, and the good thing is because my God is involved in my story so much, I want you to listen. Go to my story and listen how he talked to me. God talks to people. In my bathroom taking a shower, he talked to me. He talked to me. I would want you to go and listen how he did it. And so I want you to know that when you start healing, that is when the devil wakes up, and the devil will use people, those close to you, those not close to you. But when you stand up and you know you have God, and you know that, you know what, I don't want my past anymore, and you're looking forward to something better, no matter what, you will not lapse and go back to where you are. So if you're here and you're a victim of suicidal, God has a purpose for you. If you're here and you're planning to, talk to me. If you're here and you feel like you're lonely, talk to me, guys. We are losing people because they don't know who to talk to, because the minute I come, I talk to Grace. The next minute, it's already, everyone knows about me. So if somebody is going through something, let's be a sister keeper. Let's be a brother keeper. If you see my silence, sometimes people like me, you'll never know they are going through because we are always looking good and we are always with makeup and we are always dancing. And so you sometimes when you are over happy and you're overdoing things, like me, makeup is my therapy. So mkiona nimevaa makeup saa zingine, you may think she wants to look good. You don't know, maybe I'm going through something. So if somebody is going, even when they overdo something, whether it's in negative or in positive, maybe there's something, they are speaking to you. Be a brother's keeper. Hold that person hand and just listen to them. And so Thank you for being here and for Grace trying to reach out to a topic that people don't want to talk about, mental health, suicidal and all that. People fear talking about it.
Thank you. Malimetika na kenye